Hey everybody, it's Up and Adam Comics here, and I am going to start with a series because you can't include this all in one video to give a recap of my experience at HeroesCon 2026. So HeroesCon is, for those that aren't familiar, it's located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and is typically held during Father's Day weekend in June. This year, uh, I had a plan of going and also meeting up with a bunch of friends that I've made through YouTube. And it was an absolute blast. It was such a good time. It was so good meeting different people from the community. And also, I mean, it was a huge, phenomenal con. Um, so this is about my uh, I can't remember if it's my fourth or fifth time that I've been to Heroes, and this this one was a little bit different. I didn't go last year, so I didn't see like sometimes like if you see somebody you haven't seen in a few years, you see some changes in them, and you're like, whoa. So that's kind of the way I felt about this Heroes because it seemed bigger in terms of the number of people that were attending. And so it was that created some challenges a little bit. And I'll talk about those throughout the series a little bit. But that also created some opportunities too for some other things. So, to give you just kind of an overview about what I did during those 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday convention. And this, to go back, this con is one of those for people that love comics. It's probably the purest of the large Comic Cons there. If you are not a fan of comic books and you're just looking to go to a convention that might be more pop culture related and that type of thing, this is probably not the one for you. But if you enjoy comics, enjoy talking to the creators behind those comics, want to find back issues or want to sit in panels, they collect original art. There is so many things and so many routes to go through. I did a little bit of just about everything except for attending a panel. So I did not attend any panels just because I didn't have time or couldn't like break away from what I'm doing to actually be able to do that. So I thought I'd go ahead in this video and talk a little bit about what I did each day as a general overview. And then I'm going to show one aspect of something that I did, and that is what books did I get signed. I'm going to show off a lot of that stuff and talk a little bit about some of the gifts and things that I got from different people in the YouTube community that I know. So first off, with Thursday, I was driving down. Took me about 5 hour drive, and my goal was to pick up Johnny at the airport. Timing worked out perfectly. I pulled in and then went to baggage claim. He was there to get his bags, and then we immediately went into the Charlotte Convention Center. And you could pick up your passes a day early on Thursday. And I know the lines are usually kind of crazy. Like you stand in a long line to get your passes if you hadn't gotten them before. And then you have to get into line again to get into the convention. So I knew that. So I was like, well, let's go ahead and get our passes now. And so we go to the convention center, park in the NASCAR Hall of Fame parking lot, which is connected to the convention center. And we went down there, and as soon as we got our passes, or right before we got our passes, we see the great Brian LCS. Brian loves collecting Spidey. We saw him there, got to say hello. And then we also saw Jeff from Outer Worlds. So he came up too, and we were just chatting a bit. We got our passes, and then we went to lunch. So we went to lunch at Buffalo Wild Wings, which was right next to the convention center. And it was kind of funny. Like two booths over. It was pretty quiet for lunch, but two booths over, Joe Jusko and his wife were were sitting there eating as well. So it's kind of funny. But that's what HeroesCon is. If you stay in the host hotel, you're likely going to see tons of creators. And we were at we went to the Westin a few times. Saw Jim Starlin there, Steve Lee Aloha, a lot of different creators that were there in the Westin, so it was kind of fun. But we got our passes, we went to lunch, and then I had I had something that I needed to do myself. So I had one of my best friends growing up, Eric McConnell. He on the side, he also created his own comic called Remnant, and he was a really good friend of mine. He passed away last year, right around this time, in early June last year. I greatly miss him. But his wife and some of his close friends, they had like a really close, tight knit group of friends that were family to them all. I kind of said, "Hey, I'm going to be coming down. Love to see you." And so they kind of arranged a time for us to get together. So that was going to be the Thursday. So I went with them, met them at a brewery that's called the Armored Cow. And that was kind of a staple place that Eric loved. And they went there frequently, met as a friend group there. And so I kind of went there to hang out with his wife Michelle and some of their close friends as well, and just had a great time chatting with them. It's some crazy things from that. The brewery, because they knew and loved Eric as well. They actually made a beer for him after he passed away, to just in honor of him, and they named it based off of his comic that he created, which was Remnant. And they put his art, some of the art from the comic, actually on the can. And it has a little honoring Eric McConnell, an extraordinary artisan stole comic art by Eric. And so they had this limited release of this beer that they did last year. And I was not able to have any of this. And it's like a heavy stout. This is the stuff that Eric loved to drink. They made it gluten-free because his wife has celiac disease, so she drinks gluten-free stuff. So they kind of did a great tribute for them. And we found out they were pretty much out of this, but the owner of the brewery had kept a couple of cans behind, and so Michelle talked to the owner, got him to give her a can so that I could try it, and so then I got to take the can home. So that was such a tribute, such an honor. I really miss Eric. So after that, I was Johnny kind of stayed with a lot of the other YouTubers. Oh, I'm sorry. After lunch, we went back. We met Matt from Impressed. And so Johnny kind of stayed with the rest of the group because he's like, well, this might be like a family, close friends thing. I'll stay there. And I was like, totally cool. So I met back up with them later. After I left the brewery, we had plans. I had heard about this, and Felix Liu, who does Felix Comic Art, he's an art agent for a lot of big artists like Nick Dragata, Daniel Warren Johnson, Jeffrey Allen Love, Sanford Green. He's got a whole list of people that he represents. And the last few years at HeroesCon, he has been hosting a secret private screening of a movie. And he won't tell you what that is. And so I had arranged for myself to get a ticket, and then I got a few other people on the guest list to do that. But the guest list, I mean, there's probably the theater space that we were in is probably, maybe 120 people. So a pretty small screening. and you just show up there. And Felix also has a lot of his artists that he represents there at the movie. So it was kind of cool. Like, yes, Daniel Warren Johnson, Nick Dragata, Steve Green, a whole bunch of people were there at the movie as well to watch it. And so we had a blast. It was myself and Johnny, Brian LCS, Alex the Longest Cosplayers, Doug the Comic Collector Coach, um, and Matt from Impressed, and we were all there to watch the movie. And Felix introduced it to us, and he's like, probably a lot of y'all haven't seen this in the theater. And it was Midnight Run, which is a Robert De Niro movie from the late 80s. I think it's 88, if I remember right. And I had never seen it. And it was a great movie. If you like Robert De Niro, go check it out. He's like a bounty hunter for a bail bondsman. And he's trying to track this white collar crime guy that's taken some money from some like mafia kind of people, and there's a whole lot of people that are after him, and it was a lot of fun. The movie was like from 9:30, like 9:30 to 11:30, so it was a pretty late night for some of us, especially those that have been traveling a bit. But it was a great time, great movie, good way to kind of ease into the con and just have those like neat experiences before even the con started. So it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. On Friday, so Friday is the day that the doors open up and all hell is unleashed upon the con floor. And so for that day, my main focus was to try to arrange for some potential art to be made, some sketches and things like that I was trying to get, and then also try to get a lot of signatures knocked out of the way. And then that night there was an event called Drink and Draw. This is something that is money raised for the Michael J. Fox Foundation, to help with Parkinson's disease. And there was we had a lot of fun. A bunch of us went there, not everybody, but a bunch of us went there to kind of hang out, check out the Drink and Draw. What that is a lot of artists are asked to contribute something to this Drink and Draw. They have coasters that are kind of like this. They have these coasters that on the other side you can draw something on them, and anybody can do it, but they also send these to artists in advance that are planning to be there, say, hey, if you want to donate something. So a lot of them have them. And then there's people in this big room. You can go get a drink, as there's a bar there, and then you can sit there and draw. And so a lot of people were drawing. I unfortunately started to draw something, and I had left my pens and things like that in the car. They had some things that you could kind of try to use, like some community pens and markers and things like that. But all that I could get was something. It was just a weird brush pen that I started doing something with, and I was like, I don't like the way this tool works. I'm not as familiar with it, so. I was like, I'm just going to scratch that. So I'm just going to enjoy it. And then, so we walked around and they put these coasters out or other little art prints. They had, check out Brian LCS got something really cool. So I'm sure he's going to post about that. And then for myself, they also had some different art pieces. I'm just going to show this one right here. For an art piece, I was looking at some things on the wall and I was like, they have some like bigger pieces, original pages. They had Sergio Aragonés original work there, which is pretty cool. But I saw this piece and I was like, oh man, this is cool. But I wasn't familiar with the artist at all, so I went over and I asked. And the artist of this piece that I picked up that I'll show is Dave Kennett, and he is a cartoonist, and he has done some comic strips, some online things, and also in print. I saw the piece, and I wasn't sure who it was, so they brought somebody over to talk to me about it. He's like, "Hey, Dave's a really good friend of mine, and he contributed this piece, and his wife is actually has Parkinson's disease, and so he wanted to do something for their charity auction." So when I hear all that, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I got to pick this up definitely." So I picked this up for my wife. I was like that she would love this. So if you have watched me enough, you know that I own pugs, and this is just kind of like a crazy pug going going crazy, which our dogs are known to do. If you've watched some of my stuff and have seen them in the background. But and the artist Dave Kennett, he actually owns pugs, and so this was really cool to have a piece and to get something for my wife that I knew that she would really like. So we're planning on getting this framed and putting it somewhere visible up here that we could see. So we do have a lot of pug things, as tends to happen with some people that when you get obsessed or you have a lot of things. And then Saturday, I was also doing some art arranging, and I had some jam pieces, so I had to pass some things on, pick some things up from other people. And then I spent a lot of time digging into back issues, and so I started finding a few things. I wasn't intending to do that until mostly Sunday, but I started finding a couple of booths, and I was like, whoa, these are some great prices on things. And so I felt like these things were not going to be here on Sunday. So I ended up picking up a whole lot of back issues that day as well. Sunday, I had very limited time, and I had like two pieces of art technically to pick up. And so I was there only for a short time. I was taking Johnny back to the airport, and so we were only there for about 2.5 hours. So one thing that was stressful is in Daniel Warren Johnson's line. He was one that I had wanted to meet, but his lines were insane. And so, but I said, hey, I'm gonna suck it up, try to do it. So I was in his line, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, for about 2 hours. But then I did get my art pieces arranged. I actually picked up some other back issues, and then we were out. So we dropped Johnny off the airport and then drove back home. So it was an absolute blast. I want to give some shout outs before I go into like what I got signed. This community is an amazing group of people. I do feel like the people that I've become friends with, we're such a good group of people, such kind, generous people, and so I was gifted some things as by some of the people, and you will probably hear from some of those people also that I did do some art pieces, some of my cover recreations with them melded into it. For I think 6 or 7 different people. So I handed those out to the people as I met them. And then, but I wanted to showcase some of those things here. And before I do, hey, next year, Heroes Convention, this is when it's going to be happening, June 11th through 13th, 2027. And I think a bunch of people are planning on coming next year. So I think we're even going to have even more fun. So that's going to be awesome. So one of the first things. So as I mentioned, we ran into Brian LCS. Brian loves collecting Spidey. Gave me this cool sticker here, and then I also got a sticker for the Comic Book Community Awards in 2026. And so stay tuned for more information to that. But like early sticker person for that, and that he's gonna start or they are going to start revealing the CBC Awards. Will go live for nominees July 4th weekend, I believe, is what Brian said. So get excited for that. So I got a few things. First, I just these may not be in order of when I got them, but I just have like a little stack here. Um, Alex, who is the longest cosplayers, a wonderful young man. We hung out a lot together, and it was great to get to know him, walk around the con a little bit with him, and just hang out and talk with him a lot, which is a lot of fun. So we did not get him a wife. That was one failure that we didn't have for this weekend. But we were trying to motivate him to try to lead him in that direction, if that helps. But Alex has been, he loves to draw. He'd love to do some comic art and things like that. And so I was floored. He drew some pieces for me in advance and had them for him because I was like, I haven't seen a lot of your stuff. You gotta put it out there and show us some stuff. And he's like, oh, you'll see when you get to the con. So I was thinking like, hey, I'm gonna get to look through his portfolio. But he did 3 pieces for me. So this is kind of fun. First one is Moon Knight. And he wrote up at the top, Adam, and it put "Rise, my fist." So that's one of the sayings in Marvel Rivals, and kind of how I first really got to know Alex is playing Marvel Rivals with him and Nate, uh, Rich Big Nasty, Johnny's comic stuff. So a bunch of us got together to play some Rivals at night, and some of Nate's friends. And so that's been a lot of fun. So we have this like little thing, and I'm usually playing Moon Knight or another character, which I'll show. But in between that, there was a nice Ben Grimm smoking a nice cigar. So that was awesome. Love that. And then the other character that I usually play, he drew a wonderful, like Jeff the Landshark. This is amazing. So I love this. And put up there, I just want to watch, which is it's an inside joke, but something that I like to say when I'm playing Jeff. And then later, so he got these from the Drink and Draw, but the coasters, but he didn't get them finished there. But he gave me a coaster for Doctor Doom, and it says Robert Downey Jr. is the worst choice. So that's kind of his feelings about RDJ. I might not, I may not totally disagree with him on that one. So we'll see how RDJ does as Doctor Doom in the Avengers Doomsday movie coming up. But really cool art. Alex, thank you so much, man. I love these. So this will definitely be a treasure for me. So absolutely love it. Thank you so much. I also got from JSS, had it was kind of funny. I didn't see him but once on the floor, but a lot of times he was at the Westin and the bar area drinking water. But he was there, and he had gifted me some things. So he got me these. These are really cool. They're heavy metal cards. So it's a series of heavy metal covers, and they made a card series of this like from 1991. So he gifted me some of these cards, which are awesome. There's the last one there, and he knows that I also play D&D. So he got me this set of dice that are like Halloween themed. So there's like little pumpkins on the high numbers and things like that. So that's awesome. So I love that. And it gave me a American flag pin. So love this. JSS, thank you so much. So kind. Then I also got some things from Doug, Comic Collector Coach. And I had never seen these before. So he gave me, these are some cards. They made these extra large versions of these Marvel Masterpiece cards. And so he gave me, this was kind of an awesome one. It's a Werewolf by Night, but they did it kind of like with comic cover trade dress on there. So that was kind of a special one. But these are all Joe Jusko cards. There's an awesome one for Man Thing. Get that glare out. And then this one, I actually ended up, you can see, I got signed by Joe Jusko later, but it's a Moon Knight. So Doug knows that I love Werewolf by Night, Man Thing, Moon Knight, love them all. So he pulled those cards for me, which I was blown away. These are awesome. So I'd never seen these. These are really cool. and I love having them. Oh, before I forgot, before the con, Johnny had seen Eric J. Himbo, and Eric sent this down to give to me. So it's an issue of Fantastic Four, Attack Del Modoc, and I've never seen this before. I didn't know this existed. I love Modoc. I don't know how this escaped me, but it was in 2010. Maybe I think that was right around the time that I started getting back into some things. Took a little break, and I was getting some things, but not everything. And so I didn't know this existed. So, man, it's hard to find a Fantastic Four book for me that I do not have. But this was one of them. So I'm thrilled by that. Got to make it blue because it's a one shot in CLZ. So I'm excited about that. Also by JSS. He gave me this, Mark Spears Monsters, and this is issue number 8. But this is the losing things out of my hands. This is the D&D homage cover, and this was one I was actually had been looking for. I got some blind bags, was kind of hoping to get this one. I didn't. I almost was going to buy it online. I was like, maybe I'll just wait, but I got that. And then last but certainly not least, Johnny, when I picked him up and he gave me some things as we were checking in a little bit later after the movie, he gave me a Johnny's Comic Stuff sweatshirt. So I have a sweatshirt that is awesome. So in the cold months, I can be on the channel and and showing that. And then I was just laughing hysterically. He gave me a copy of Nightcat, the one shot, a 9.8, which is awesome. But I have never read Nightcat. I have not owned it. I never see it in the wild. And so I've kind of felt left out because I don't fully know and own Nightcat. So, but now I feel like I'm officially part of the crew. And I have my Nightcat 9.8. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, Johnny. This is amazing. So, now, let me get on to the second part. So, sorry, this is a long video, but I'm going to highlight some or go through all the books that I got signed during the con. So, I have a big stack of books that I got signed by different people, and then we'll do I'll do another part where I talk about back issues, and I'll have another one. Then I talk about some of the art that I did and kind of sum up things. But anyway, I'm going to go, kind of alphabetically mostly through some of the artists and things that I got done. But a couple things that don't really fit in in the stack that well is I got this book that I'm currently reading. I have it kind of bookmarked right there. Bones of Our Stars, Blood of Our World. This is by Cullen Bunn. This is his first novel that he's put together. I love Cullen Bunn, does some great horror stuff. And so he signed it to me, put a little quote, "Remember the Tasty King." So I'm not sure what that is yet based on what I've been reading. So I'm sure that's like a little hint to something that happens in the book. But I'm very excited about that. And so, Cullen Bunn's a wonderful guy, and I've met him a few times, but I was really excited to get this book signed. And then the other bigger thing that I got signed was this Art of Daniel Warren Johnson book. This was one of the things I really wanted to get signed at this con, and I couldn't get in line until Sunday, but I got this signed, and he did a little remark. And this is an amazing art book. Teaches you a lot about his process, shows off some of his art through it. Absolutely amazing. Some of the ideas that he has. So this is like a treasured part. This is one of the best art books I've ever seen. And so I was able to talk to Daniel a little bit. One of the crazy things, because I was in his line, this was on Sunday, I had limited time. The line wasn't moving very fast at all. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get through this with the other things that I have to do. And I was in line. Doug, comic collector coach, was like, "Hey, I'll be your line buddy for it." And so he hung out with me in line. And then I was realizing time was getting close, and I was like, I still had to go pick up some art. So I made a mad dash um, to try to get. I had two art pieces to potentially pick up. One completely fell through, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and then one. It was good that I did get out of line because the artist had a question for me, and he's like, "Before I went further, I needed to ask you something." And so I was like, "Whew, I'm glad I got out of this so that I could actually give him a little time to work on it before I needed to leave." So, but Daniel Warren Johnson, one of the coolest dudes in comics, true diehard comic fan. If you're not, if you haven't been reading anything he does, anything you pick up from him is going to be amazing. So, now to go through some of the stuff. This I have to give a shout out to Matt from Impressed because I was getting ready to be in line for somebody else, and I ran into Matt, and he was in the Brett Bean line, and I was like, "Oh man!" And it was a long line at this time. Later on, sometimes he didn't have much of a line at all, which was kind of interesting. But initially, a lot of people wanted to get Dork signed right away. So so I kind of handed this off to Matt to see if he would get that signed for me. And then I went to a different line to get some other books signed. But thanks so much, Matt, for helping me out with that one. Um, and then I got this one double signed. This is Absolute Wonder Woman #1. This is the Jeff DeCall variant. I got Jeff DeCall to sign it there. And then this was Hayden Sherman signed it. This happened on Friday, trying to get signatures for Hayden Sherman, and their line was so long and it did not move. And I was that at the end of a day being in a line for a few hours. I think I wrote in our chat group like this about killed my soul because I could I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It was killing me, and the fact that nothing was moving and I was in there forever. I was getting kind of angry by the end of it because I was like, "Come on, people, move through. You don't please don't talk his ear off. Like we're not going anywhere." Um, and there was a line like halfway across the convention hall to get into his line. But I did get to meet him. Got this signed. I stayed in line. I probably would have jumped out, but I stayed in line because the owner of my LCS really wanted to get a book signed, and so I was like, all right, I got to do this. But the way one thing about the con was if anything was involved with Absolute, the DC thing, it was an absolute shit show. So those were the lines that were the craziest, and it was a lot of newer people into comics, which was cool to see. But Scott Snyder, there was a lot of people that were irritated because you had to kind of go first thing, get a ticket to have a chance to get stuff signed by him. Nick Dragata, Hayden Sherman, Stephanie Phillips, all those people had insane lines, and that's not what I like to do. I don't like to spend a lot of time. My patience starts wearing thin after a while, but a lot of people were in line. Everybody mostly was nice in line, but that's the way it goes. I did get this book signed, Star Wars Dark Empire #1 by Dave Dorman, who's wonderful, does a lot of great Star Wars art. It's probably what he's most known for. I was so excited to get this signed by him. I got a couple things signed by David Finch. This was kind of like first thing on Friday. I got Skinbreaker #1 signed by him. And it was kind of funny. We were in line trying to potentially get a sketch. He gave you a ticket, and then at a certain time, they revealed who actually won a chance to get sketches. And so he did like 5 per day. And I know the first day there was like 75 people trying to get a sketch. So I didn't win one. I was with Johnny. I was trying to help him too. I was probably going to give him my ticket. But neither one of us won that. So I got that one signed, and I also got this Moon Knight 200 variant signed by David Finch. I love that cover. It's so awesome. And then here I have Jenny Frison. I got this Zatanna Breaking Down the House number 3, I think it is. Number two. Got this signed by her. Interestingly, there were times Jenny Frison had a little bit of a line. There were sometimes, like for this, I like walked by. I was like, "There's nobody in line for Jenny Frison." I didn't know if they were taking anybody, and they were like, "Oh yeah, she's here." So I was kind of surprised. I had to get this Fantastic Four. I love this one. Got that signed by her. I also got a bunch of stuff signed by Chris Giarusso, I think is how you pronounce his name. He does this kind of kiddie style art, but he did a whole series of their kind of recreations of official handbook of the Marvel Universe, and they went across different titles. I got them all, but I didn't get him to sign everything, and so, but I did get this issue of Avengers. I tried to pick the ones that had like characters on them that I really liked. Had to get Daredevil, Doctor Doom on there, a Doctor Strange that has Nick Fury. Also, Galactus is on the back of that one. These are all wraparound covers. So I got the One World Under Doom, Amazing Spider-Man with Surfer and Spider-Man there, the Immortal Thor and Thing on there especially, and I had to get my Moon Knight. Fist of Khonshu with a little North Star and Nightcrawler going on in there. So he was a super nice dude, and you'll see more from him in another video. And then I did get to meet Sanford Green. I have this Will of Doom, this foily, shiny. I've had some other books signed by him in the past. I've met him a few different times, but this was one I had not gotten signed, so I got that one signed. As I mentioned, Daniel Ward Johnson, I did get a Transformers #1 signed. Great series. And then I had these. This is a one per store 616. Marvel did last year on June 16th. They had these 616 packets, and the store owner gave me this because the Fantastic Four was like the top cover of that. So I got this signed by Greg Land. And also this one was a special one that I got signed by Greg Land as well. Okay, next up. So I recently, Dope Comics turned me on to Vince Locke. And so I had never met him before, kind of, discovered his art. And I was like, wow, that's some crazy stuff. He was part of this Swamp Thing, did some art in this for Swamp Thing 88. This is a new one. This is a blank cover. Now, he was my comic sketch that fell through. So I had dropped off a blank sketch first thing on Friday to try to get him to do a sketch for me. I was trying to get him to do a Bernie Wrightson style Frankenstein. I had talked with him a little bit before the show. He put me down on the list. But then when I got to, he's like, well, keep checking back with me and see how that goes if I get to it. And I checked later on Saturday, didn't get it done. I checked on Sunday. He's like, no, I didn't get it done. And I saw his list. He had about 30 some people on his list. And I was, I think, number 11. And I think he only got 6 or 7 done during the whole show. So I don't know why he took that many people on his list. But it kind of held up money for me to be able to do some other things. So I pivoted on Sunday when I got out of line. I found out that he wasn't going to do it. I found another artist that did do something for me in a short amount of time that I absolutely love. You're going to laugh. But I'm going to move on. Jeffrey Allen Love. I got this. This is Absolute Batman #2. This is the 1 in 25. I got this signed by Jeffrey Allen Love. Love that cover. And then I also got him to sign this issue of Headlopper #1, which is the recent edition of Headlopper, which was done by Andrew McLean. And Andrew McLean signed it, put like a little skull head on there for that one as well. So this one got double signed and, kind of a remark on that one. And Headlopper is amazing. If you like dork and you like fun fantasy stuff, you like some kind of manga-looking art, that's kind of this is in kind of like swords and sorcery fantasy. This is an amazing thing. And so, yeah, he also did that one and put a little Put a little remark on there as well. So Andrew is one of the coolest dudes. I met him many years ago when Headlopper was just starting. Got him to sign some stuff for me then. But this is kind of, if you get the first issue, it kind of recaps the stuff that happened before. Alex Maleev, I got him to sign this, the infamous Iron Man. A lot of people like this cover because this Doom becomes, Iron Man. So that's a sought after book. And then I got this Absolute Green Arrow signed by Pornsack Peachit. At the bottom there, previously a few weeks ago, I got Raphael Albuquerque to do a remark on this and sign it. So I wanted to get this finish that double signed with that one. And then I got Joe Pruitt to sign this Viking Moon. It was funny. I was at Joe Pruitt's line. He was right next to Joe Jusko, and he almost seemed more like Joe Jusko's handler. He was like helping the table out and telling people things, and I was like, "Oh, you're Joe Pruitt. I actually have a book for you to sign." So he signed this one for me, which was awesome. So Viking Moon has been a great series. Love it. So and there may be more later on. So he's talked to him a bit about that. I got a couple books signed by Tom Scioli. He did Fantastic Four Grand Design. This is also previously signed by Ed Piskor, who passed away a while back. But I loved getting that one done, and I had to get the other version of number 2 that Tom Scioli did for that. Now, another huge shout out to Doug, Comic Collector Coach. He had a VIP bracelet, which allowed him to get in an hour early. And I know Saturday his goal was to get to Roy Thomas. That was his first goal. So I knew there was no way I was going to maybe even get to Roy Thomas's line because they sometimes cut it off. And I knew if I was to be in his line, it would probably have been 3.5 hours before I would have gotten through. So Doug had Roy had a limit of 10 per person that he would sign, and so Doug said he only had 2, so he was willing to help get a couple books signed by him, which I've always wanted to have a couple signed books by him. And so I got my Submariner #1 signed down here by Roy Thomas. And then this Avengers 57 signed by him, just kind of right over the Vision's shoulder. So these are 2 big books that I loved getting signed. I think the very last thing that I got done at the whole con was I got Charles Vest to sign my Web of Spider-Man #1, and he was actually the very first creator that I ever met. My original Web of Spider-Man 1, I got signed. This was right when it came out. That he was at my comic shop that we had in Lynchburg, Virginia. He lived there, and so he signed that one for me before. So this is kind of like retribution because I no longer have that book. So I was very excited about that. And then I also got a couple books signed by Dave Wachter, and I was with Johnny. Johnny's comic stuff. Check out some stuff that he got from Dave Wachter because he got some amazing things from him. But I got the issue of Planet of the Apes #1 signed by him that he did, and then he also did this cover for Marvel 2-in-1 Thing and Moon Knight. It's Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu, but he did a Marvel 2-in-1 thing there. So that is what I got signed. I have one more thing I need to get to show, but I'll include that in the next video since this one's pretty long as it is. And so that was all of my signatures that I got. As you can see, I had a huge stack. I also brought along probably even more than this stack I brought with me and I did not get signed. So I kind of was looking at my money situation as we were going through, and some of these, a lot of them cost $10 to get signed, and so I had a limited amount of money that I wanted to spend on getting books signed. So I tried to limit that, but I brought options, like in case they decided to do them for free or whatever. Like I brought some other ones just to have just in case, or if somebody's line was too long, I had some other people that I could go to. So, but I got a big chunk signed, so I was pretty thrilled with that. So stay tuned for the next episode where I'll be going into some of the uh, new, like the stuff that is like newer that I bought from some different people, and then I'll have another video that I'll do showing off some of the art pieces and talk a little bit more about those that I got done while I was at the con. So thanks so much if you made it all the way through this. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you flip through a floppy. I will catch you on the next one, and I hope to catch you at Heroes next year. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.